Hello again, this is UML Operator. Okay, in this session we're going to be talking about baseline versus reusable asset service. So in previous sessions we've talked a lot about baselining within your project, and we've covered reusable asset service, or RAS, quite a bit. In this session we're going to talk and compare both of them. All right, so we've got our project XYZ. We had created a demo folder, and inside it we have a blank diagram. What we're going to do is we're going to add a class element. We're going to accept the default name class 1, and then we're going to baseline this package. But first let's save. So we're saved, and we're going to baseline. Control Alt and B, create a new baseline. We're going to accept the notes right here to make this go fast. 01 is going to be our first baseline, and it is done. We have baselined this first diagram with a class 1 element. Let's close this. Let's add another class element. We're going to accept the name class 2. We're going to save, and we're going to hit Control Alt B, and we're going to create another baseline. This one is going to be 02. There we go. It is added. We can do a compare from where we are at this particular moment back to 01. You've seen this before, show differences, and we can see we added a new class element. Green means new, and then this blue, dark blue, means the diagram has had an element added to it as new. All right, so now we're kind of refreshed on how baselining works. Let's go ahead and add another class element. Let's add class 3 in here, and let's save, and let's baseline. Control Alt B. All right, so you're getting the gist of what we're doing here. We're creating 3 baselines at dates and times, and go ahead and close. And what we're going to do is we're going to left justify, go to layout, just to introduce some little changes in the diagram. And let's do a Control Alt B, and let's compare to the last baseline. And see, the diagram just had some changes on it, and for these elements it was just geometry between the baseline and the model. Okay? At any point you can fall back to any version. Let's fall all the way back to 01. So we're going to restore to baseline. You get a warning here that if you made any changes that, between the current model and the last baseline, you're going to lose it, right? So it's going through and doing its thing, and it is done. Let's go ahead and take a look, and we're back to 01. Maybe we didn't want to go to 01. We're going to hit Control Alt B again. We're going to go back to 02. And then restore to baseline. We get the warning message, are you sure? And it's doing its thing, and you can see it is adding back in the elements to take us back to where we were at 02. We're going to go into 02, and we're going to version this diagram at 02. I'm going to go ahead and leave notes blank. I'm going to hit OK, and what I'm going to do is Control Alt B. I'm going to create a new baseline, and I'm going to create a baseline 02. Take it back to here. Error. Can't do it because it already exists. We're going to do something interesting. What we're going to do is delete 02. It is deleted. I'm going to create a new baseline 02. All right, and date and time. It's doing its thing. So now I have a 02. Let's say we want to go to 03. We're going to restore to baseline. Yes, we get the warning message. It is doing its thing, and it's adding in the elements, and you can see now we're back to 03. You can see these are slightly off, and they haven't been done. We're going to go in and change this version to 03. Again, I'm going to leave the notes and description blank. Control Alt B. We're going to delete this 303 because we want to replace it with our fixed version. So we're going to delete the selected, are you sure? And then we're going to create new, 03 at this date and time, all right? And now we've got 03. We can show differences. Of course, there's no differences. We're back to where we were. While we're in this baseline comparison window, you can see you have toolbars across the top. We're going to select this one right here, and it's going to take us back to the baseline dialog box. We're going to go to 01 here, and we're going to export this file to wherever our repository is. And in this particular case, we're going to go ahead and put it right here. And our naming convention is going to be demo 01, the version, and then whatever the date is, all right? And you put whatever you want to give it a unique reference, and we're going to go ahead and hit save. So what we're going to do here to version 2, let's do the same thing. We're going to export. I'm going to steal the name here and just change this to 2, and then the calendar versioning scheme that I'm doing here, I'm going to leave the current date, all right? So I'm going to hit save, and that one's been done. And then one last time, we're going to go ahead and do the same for 03. And then there we go. I'm going to hit save, and there we go. All right. So now we've got our baseline versions backed up as XML files within our repository. Wherever that repository is, it could be in a doc folder with your code, project folder with your project artifacts, wherever. All right. So now we've done that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go, let's pick 02, this baseline version here, and let's delete it. All right. So it's been deleted. Let's say that we want to bring it back. We're going to go to import. It's going to go to where our versions are. Because we have a naming convention that's somewhat understandable, we can see this is the file that we want to bring in. We're going to hit open. Now we have an opportunity to use the same version number or create a new version number. We're going to use the same number 02. We're going to bring it back as 02 is now back at this date and time, right? So that's a different date and time from when it was originally created. So hopefully that helps. Then what we're going to do in our current model, we're going to show the differences. And you can see the differences between 02 and our current model is that we've added class 3. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to register this package called demo with these 3 class elements in it. We're going to register it in RAS. So we're going to log into our RAS repository. There we go. We're going to go to our storage area. We called it Project XYZ. We don't currently have this registered yet. So we're selecting what we want to register. We're going to hit register. We're going to see that this is the storage area we're going to, and this is the package we want to register. Let's do a complete. All right, 01, we're going to call it 01. And we're going to put some comments in here. Demo, baseline versus RAS. All right, that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to copy comments so that notes aren't blank. There, put anything we want. We're going to go ahead and register. There we go. And now this is registered. Let's check our content. There we go. There's our elements. And now here's this is a diagram type. There are 3 class elements. Elements, right here, your type. Here are your global unique IDs, critical, all right, to remain uniqueness and association and relevance across your storage, RAS, and project instances. All right, now we're in a local separate project instance. We're going to log into RAS. Here we go. We're going to log into the repository where what we want is there. We're going down to the storage area, and we're going to bring in this demo version 1 folder. We're going to import it to this target, right? So I'm going to hit import, package, and dependencies. Warning, it will overwrite anything that's already there, and there's nothing there. And now we have brought in this package at 03. That's when it was registered at version 03. All right. However, let's say that you are in a program that has multiple program increments, 1, 2, and 3. We'll use that as an example. And let's say the stakeholder said, hey, this model right here is for PI3. We're currently working on and finishing our release for PI1, and we want to get to the version where we were for that particular release. So how do you do that? We could go to the repository, Control-Alt-B, import, and we could import 01 baseline into this project instance. And we're going to call it 01. We could certainly call it PI1, whatever you want to do. That's up to this package owner. And there we go. We want to restore to this baseline. Now, we didn't baseline 03. We're not worried about it because it's in the reusable asset service and it's backed up there. So what we're going to do is we're going to restore to version 1. We get the warning, hey, you're getting ready to wipe out whatever was there. And now we're at 01, back to this version right here. So that's one way of doing it, but there's another way. So if you have RAS repository set up and you go to settings and you go to options, you'll see in this dialog box, manage model options, there's an option for baseline. Store package baselines in RAS. All right, so we're going to select this, and then we're going to put in our credentials to log into that repository next. All right, we've put in everything necessary to log into the RAS that we're targeting. You'll see storage here, and it doesn't see a baseline storage, so what it's going to do is allow you to create a new storage, and we're just going to call it baseline. I would probably call it demo baseline or give it a more unique name because you may have multiple baselines from different instances within your RAS. But let's just use baseline, keep it simple. It defaults, it's disabled model packages because these are models. Status is complete. You can't change that. And we're not going to put in any access credentials, but your model admin security may want to put those in there. All right, we're just going to hit OK. Do you want to create it? This is just like creating a repository, a storage area rather, in RAS. And then we're going to hit save, and it has been done. So now, anytime we do a baseline, you're going to see a different dialog box. As for these options that are down here, leave those checked. Read this and hopefully you understand. You can always go to help. Check package dependencies when creating baseline. We're going to leave that checked. Set baseline version as package tag value after restoring baseline. We're going to leave that checked, and maybe we'll have some time in this session to see the results of that. We're going to go ahead and hit close. And now when we're on this package, we're going to hit Control, Alt, and B to baseline. And now you see you're logged into your reusable asset service, your RAS repository that you configured. You can see the registry you're on. You can see the storage package you're on. You can't change it when you're in this dialog box. You can certainly hit find other packages. We may look at that later. You have help right here. You can create a new baseline. So you have some different options. Up here, you can refresh your repository. You can create a new baseline using these buttons up here. You have, this is disabled, restore. We don't have anything to restore to. And then you have a help function here. All right. So let's go ahead and create a baseline 04. All right. But first, let's come over to our dialog box. Let's hit layout. Let's straighten this up a little bit, and let's add another class element. And we're just going to leave it at 4. And I'm going to do something like this. Sort down equally. There we go. Hit Control S and save. We'll come back over here, and we're going to create a new, go here, new 04. 04, same dialog box. I'm going to leave the default notes, hit OK. It's going through, and now our models are in the reusable asset service storage area for the repository that we configured. You can always go back to storing and managing your baselines within whatever repository you're in, whether it's local or another SQL instance. You simply go to settings, you go to options, you go to baseline, and you check this off, right? Now, when you check this off, I'm going to hit close. And then you need to come back to it. You select options again, you check, go to baseline, you check this back on. You have to rekey in your credentials, so just be aware of that. If you're allowing people that don't know it or can't remember, it could be frustrating for them. So just understand that. Probably have model admins that are setting all this up. So now when I'm on this and I hit Control-Alt-B, I am back to the normal baseline dialog box and all the features here for managing our baselines. But let's bring that baseline RAS back up. So we just, again, hitting settings, options, go to baseline, check this box, enter your credentials in. Now what you're going to see is in this RAS repository, you see baselines already created. We're going to go ahead and select that. We're going to hit save, leave the options checked, hit close. Now when we hit Control-Alt-B, and we're automatically logs you into that RAS repository, puts you at the baseline storage area, and here's 04 that we had baseline. Let's do a compare. We're going to right click here, compare. Yes. Going through, no changes. So we have the latest version in RAS, all right? So I'm back over in our other Sparx instance, separate from the originating source, and we had imported this demo package at 01. So this particular version is 01, and I want to get the latest version out of RAS. So if I select demo here, I hit Control-Alt-B, I get the normal baseline dialog box where I only see 01 in here. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. I want to get 04. Do I need to set this up where it is baselining 04? This is a target, it's not the source. So I'm going to say no at this particular point, but how do I get to that baseline? So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Publish. We're going to go to Reusable Asset Service. We're going to log on to the repository where those baselines are. We're going to choose the storage area baseline where we see 04. And we're going to import this along with its global unique IDs to this particular package. All right. So what we're going to do is select what we want to import. We're going to select import package and dependencies. It's going to give us the warning it's going to overwrite, and it's going through and bringing that baseline version in. And now I have 04 project within my local instance. So 04, I have brought this in from the reusable asset service, RAS, without having to do a restore from baseline. Because I'm in the target, I'm not doing baselining here. All right. And I certainly don't need to go Control-Alt-B and create a 04 or 05. If I'm making modifications, you need to have the right practices and processes in your modeling, your development shop, so that all are following a consistent approach. All right. So there are pros and cons to using RAS as your baselining repository versus using whatever your local instance, whether it is local to your desktop or SQL. There are advantages and disadvantages. I'm going to go over the disadvantages first. So the disadvantages to me is that I can't really manage my baselines. I can't delete these. I could probably overwrite these. If I come in here and let's try to do a baseline where I'm going to do new. Let me do a 04 and then hit OK. And I get this error that the existing version is already there. Well, I don't want this version. I want to be able to remove or delete it. Now I could go into the database and do some things, but that gets a little dangerous, so I wouldn't do that. There are other things that I can't do, like if I wanted to just store files, XML files, versions of my various projects or things that I'm baselining. I can't do that like I can in a normal instance, as I've shown you earlier. And there are other disadvantages, but I just wanted to go over those to start with. The advantages of using RAS for baselining is for your final major releases. So you can see we're at minor releases here. And I may use this if I'm in a project and a team across multiple Sparx instances where I want to store major release baselines. In other words, I get to a point where this is 1.0 or 2.0 versus a major minor of 0.4. So what I would see in here is someone coming in saying, all right, this is complete. 1.0, I'm going to baseline it. And now I'm maintaining baselines, milestones within a delivery exercise, snapshots of particular models at particular times in a major release or project management perspective. So that's an advantage of using RAS, especially with multiple instances where you want a common control point for your baselines. But other than that, I don't use this. So I'm going to go into settings, go into options, come here. I'm going to go to baselines and I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to close. And now I'm going to go ahead and close this. And now within my project, Control-Alt-B, I'm back to the local baseline dialog where I can more effectively manage my baselines. And then if I get to a point where I want to baseline 1.0, we can do that from any project, right? I can store the project folder in RAS. Someone can bring it across and create a baseline snapshot. And maybe in another session, I'll show you that process. But I wanted to show you the differences between the local baselining capabilities, versioning capabilities within your models versus using RAS. Because you can always go back into RAS. If you are doing this kind of thing, we're going to go into RAS. We're going to log into RAS. Our baseline repository that we created, it's still there. Our baselines can be maintained here with all of the power of doing baselines, all right? So one important closing point is don't do an import or registry to your baseline storage area because Sparx is going to treat this as complete, as you saw the original. It's going to give you limitations, and it just gets a little wonky. You'll do, I don't have time to do it for you. Create a sandbox SQL and a sandbox local, maybe a couple of sandbox SQL instances where your team can do your own training, testing on how you want to approach. But if I go to store this as a baseline, it's not a baseline. It's storing it as a model share, right? It's not storing it as a baseline. It will come in, it will complete, and then you won't see it. It's not there. And so you won't be able to get to it unless you go back to the baseline capabilities via settings, options, baseline, turn this back on when you log in, and then you go to the baseline. You will see whatever you stored in baseline, but it breaks some things. I tested it one time. It's not worth the pain. So I make sure that you're very careful about how you're using your reusable asset service for shared models, reference data, and other things versus baselining. All right. Okay, so I hope this video helped you understand the difference between RAS, Reusable Asset Service, and baseline capabilities in Sparx Enterprise Architect. If you have any questions, please post comments down below. I'll try to get back to every one of them that comes in. Always appreciate the support from our community. Thanks very much for watching this, and until the next time we talk, happy modeling.